Hi, Matt Perez from the State Fire Marshal's Office. We're doing our first installment of Coffee with the Chief. We're going to go to local fire departments and local fire protection districts and speak with the chief and give them the opportunity to promote their department and all the good things they do in their community. Today, on the first installment, is going to be with Chief Chris Buse of the Lincoln Rural Fire Department. They're located along I-55, just a little bit north of Springfield. And so, got a bunch of questions for him, so we're going to get right to it. So, Chief, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was born and raised here in Lincoln. I've been here my entire life. Started with the department about 23 years ago as an explorer, and was able to work my way up. When I turned 18, got on as a volunteer. Then we do part-time staffing here. Where if one of the full-time career members wants a day off, part-timers can fill in their slot. Did that for a couple of years. Got hired full-time, and then worked my way up through the ranks since then. It's 14 years now that I have full-time here with the department.
Awesome. Awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Lincoln Rural?
The district was formed back in 1949. There was shown a need for fire protection outside of the city of Lincoln. So the founding trustees of the district came together, got an approval vote. The initial station was on Woodlawn Road. For anybody familiar with the Lincoln area, down near the Hardee's restaurant. We moved into the last facility prior to this, was there for a substantial amount of time, and in 2007 we were fortunate enough to get the taxpayers' approval and built this wonderful facility that we have now. We're able to provide, all fire, EMS, hazmat, everything for our district, which covers about 144 square miles around the city of Lincoln. We are full-time staff with 6 full-time guys, work 24 on, 48 off rotation, as well as supplemented by our volunteers and then off-duty guys come in whenever call comes in as well. So slightly unique way that we do it, but we found it works pretty well for us around here. We're essentially a volunteer agency that have a few guys that are fortunate enough to do this as a career. We couldn't do it without our volunteers. Unfortunately, financially, we can't really afford to put on a lot more in the way of career members at this time. Someday, I'm hoping to see that be able to grow, but right now, financially, we're just in a position where we have to rely heavily on the volunteers to come in and either backfill the station while we're out on calls. We tell them all the time that this is just as much their district and department as it is the full-time guys. The 6 full-time guys are just fortunate enough to get the paycheck to go along with it. I myself do still work a 24/48 shift, as well as come in on my off days and do office work and administrative things as well. So, same with my assistant chief. He comes and puts a lot of hours in on his off time as well. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that go on that aren't just dedicated to just the 24/48 shifts.
And those kind of unique situations is kind of why we're doing this, because where I come from in Aurora, completely different situations, fully career, and you take a lot of things for granted, right? You take the overtime, you take the equipment, you take the facilities, you take it all for granted. And when I got the job done in Springfield, started traveling around and realized everybody doesn't have it that way. So for me, it makes me appreciate what you guys do even more.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We are fortunate because we are the staffed station. We do get relied on quite a bit with a lot of our neighboring agencies that are strictly just volunteers that maybe don't have enough staffing around during the daytime. We have several agencies around us that we have agreements with that we provide service to them during the daytime hours when their members are away working their normal jobs and things like that. We also work hand in hand quite a bit with the City of Lincoln Fire Department, which is all full-time. But because Lincoln is fortunate enough to have 2 fire departments in the same city, we rely on each other quite heavily as well. Going both ways, they help us out, and we help them out whenever we can. So.
Right. You talked about your district. Can you tell me a little more about the demographics, about the people, about the businesses that are here?
We cover 4 townships: East and West Lincoln Townships, Broadwell Township, and Chester Township. We have two smaller unincorporated villages of Broadwell and Lawndale, which both sit along I-55. We cover a large portion of the main highways through Logan County, including I-55, Old Route 66. Most of our population is, the rural residents, farmers. That's the majority of our district. We do have some smaller businesses, a little bit of the industrial side. We have a couple factories that are within our jurisdiction, as well as both Lincoln and Logan Correctional Centers.
Tell us about the trucks and vehicles that you have inside
Sure.
the station here.
We have, first and foremost, over to our right, we have a 91 International, which is our 3,000 gallon tanker. We acquired that a couple of years ago. Saybrook Fire Department up near Bloomington. The engine that's sitting also to our right is a primary engine. We do all of our heavy rescue off of it. We purchased it about 5 years ago from the Frankfort Fire Protection District up north. We also have our 2004 105-foot aerial. Purchased that from the Florissant Valley Fire Protection District in Florissant, Missouri. We've had it for a little over a year now. Been a pretty good solid truck for us. Our last brand new engine is a 2000 International Smeal chassis. We use that predominantly for car fires and our rural structure fires, where the other engine is used more for the in-town structure fires, has a little bigger pump on it. We also have a 2007 Dodge brush truck that we use for all brush fires, field fires, has pump and roll capability. Pickup truck that we use for EMS runs. We also house the county's dive team water rescue vehicle at our location. We have several members that are on our department that are divers with the county's dive team. We also have the Mavis Division 51 light trailer and UTV that we house here, respond anywhere within the state that Mavis requests it to go, and also within our county. There's been quite a bit of usage with those, and then outside we also keep the Division 51 deployable tent, the Western shelter tent for anywhere that it would need to go.
You mentioned EMS. What is your function with EMS?
We're a basic life support non-transporting agency. We have one ambulance service here in the county. That's the Logan County Paramedics Association, who actually share a parking lot with us.
Okay.
We joint respond for all calls in the county. Well, I'm sorry, all calls in our fire district.
Just wanted to talk to you a little about your community outreach. It seems like you guys are pretty ingrained into the area here. So, can you tell us a little bit about what you do as far as community outreach with people?
We try to do a lot of things when it's involving the community, whether it's parades or community get-togethers whenever they have festivities downtown, things along those lines. We used to have the Hot Air Balloon Festival here in Lincoln that the airport falls within our jurisdiction, so we would always have personnel and equipment out there for the kids to look at and climb over and give handouts and things along those lines. Unfortunately, the Balloon Fest has kind of gone through some revamping in the last few years, so we haven't had much to take part in that. We did acquire a smoke trailer, stay alive house from a department down in Missouri that unfortunately we got the trailer, but it needs a lot of revamping on the inside of it, so that's something that we're currently working with to get that up and going.
Yeah, dealing with kids, that's one of the fun parts of the job,
Absolutely.
right?
Our old facility used to sit over next to the Dairy Queen on Woodlawn Road, and I would say that was one of the things that I loved most was, sitting outside and the kids going over to get their ice cream once they come over to see the fire trucks, and that was very enjoyable.
So one thing I want to ask you about is the challenges that you face. What are the couple big challenges, the biggest challenges for you?
One of the biggest challenges is finances. With us being a protection district, our budget's based solely off of what we get for property tax valuation throughout the fire district. And it's getting harder and harder to meet some of the demands that are out there. As well, as I stated earlier, most of our apparatus are all used vehicles that we've purchased through other agencies, and we've had good luck with some of the purchasing. We've had not so good luck with some of the purchasing. It's a crapshoot when you buy used.
Sure.
but unfortunately, the thought of being able to purchase a brand new truck right now is just not even in the ballpark. It's better to have a guaranteed response with, maybe not the shiniest new toys. I think having a dedicated response is a lot more important. The other one, as I stated before, we are a combination department, so we have the same pitfalls as every volunteer agency out there and every career agency out there. There's days that volunteers and off-duty personnel aren't around a whole lot, so there are days that we struggle for responses to larger incidents. We rely on calling mutual aid just as much as a small town that doesn't have any full-time staff anymore. And I think those are really the two biggest issues that hit us the hardest. Overall, we have a pretty solid core group of people here, and we all work together, whether it's the career guys or the volunteer guys, all work together as one big family. And dysfunctional as it may be from time to time.
That's the fire service.
Absolutely. But we have a lot of good guys and gals. We do have women on our roster as well. So,
what's your vision for the future?
Ultimately, I think somewhere down the road, we would like to see more full-time staffing brought in. That does tend to be hard, as we were talking about finances and budget earlier. With being a protection district, we do lose ground to the city as they annex properties in. So we lose a lot, but we're not gaining a lot. We do have wind farms that are coming into the county, so yes, that brings a little extra income to the districts and things, but overall, there's no big emphasis on building in our fire district. Typically, when a new business looks to come into the area, they get annexed in by the city, and then the city reaps the benefits of the tax money that we never see.
Right.
So at some point, I would like to see us be able to grow and include more staffing full time. Obviously, be able to update our fleet. We have a lot of aspirations to get more into some of the tech rescue things. We have a lot of grain bins that fall within our fire district. So, looking to that to do more in the grain bin rescue side of things. As I alluded to, we do have a water rescue dive team that's based out of our station here. We have the vehicle and the equipment here. The City of Lincoln station has the boat that's owned by the county. So it's a joint response whenever there's a water rescue, whether it's a flooded roadway or a body of water. So I'd like to take some more leaps and bounds in involving that a little more.
There's a lot of programs between our office and IFSI that could help you do those things. So always want to make sure that they know and you know that there's things there to help you grow in your department and improve in your department. And we've touched on a lot of things, but is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you would want everybody in Illinois to know about what you guys do here?
Not really a whole lot. I mean, we've touched a lot of the things. I feel we have a good, strong department here. We have a lot of good, quality people with good training, good knowledge. We're kind of dead center of the state, so if you're up north, then we're in the south. If you're down south, we're up north. We're just right smack dab in the middle. So we really do the best we can with what we have to deal with. And as I stated before, I know it's a little bit unique animal that we have of how our roster and our facility is set up, but it does work very well for us and are leaned on by our neighbors. And we even have mutual aid going as far as in the Sangamon County, to our south. So that makes me, as the chief, very proud to know that we are relied on, even outside of our county, but also with locally, and just hope to continue to keep moving forward and put the best foot forward we can.
Great. Well, you have a lot to be proud of. You've accomplished a lot in a short amount of time, and you really progressed in your career a long way in a short amount of time. So just want to thank you for being our first. I think you set a good example for everybody else to follow from this point forward, and appreciate you taking time to talk with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.